Welcome to University, everybody. I'm Jeff Rader. I'm here with beauty magnate, author, social media maven, inspiration, friend.
And a triple doctor.
Triple doctor, Bobbi Brown.
Honorary. My kids say it doesn't count, but yes. I have 3 degrees, yes.
And an honorary triple doctor.
Doctor, yep.
Doctor.
Yep.
It's wonderful to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us on University. So we're going to get started with an icebreaker. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
This morning, what did I have this morning? Oh, I had Elle Macpherson's protein powder and almond milk in a cup, and I made a protein hot cocoa.
Wow.
It was really good.
It's like protein on protein.
Yeah, it was really good.
Is that a typical morning? Or?
No, there is no typical morning, but that was this morning.
What do you wake up for?
What do I wake up for? I wake up for espresso, tequila, my dog Biggie, my husband, my kids, and rap music.
Let's talk about beauty a little bit.
Okay.
So how and why did you get involved in beauty?
Well, that's actually a pretty boring story. No, it's not that boring. I've always loved makeup. I used to watch my mom put her makeup on when I was a kid, and my parents were 20 when I was born, so I always had a really young, cool mom, and I just always played with makeup. And my style, even back then, was I wanted to put makeup on so I looked pretty, but I didn't want anyone to know I put it on. So that was my style.
What age did this start?
Oh, I would say probably about 11, probably about 11, right before the bar mitzvahs. And because that's when we were allowed to wear makeup.
Right.
You're allowed to wear makeup at a bar mitzvah. And I went to college, followed some friends, graduated high school early. I'm not sure how I did that. Went to University of Wisconsin at Oshkosh for 6 months, then went to University of Arizona for a year, which is like 40,000 kids. It's enormous. And I wanted to drop out of school. My mom said, you have to get a college degree. But Mom, college is boring. She said, forget about what you want to do in college. Forget about what you want to do in your life. If today was your birthday, you could do anything. What would you want to do? I could have said go to Paris. I could have said go, clothes shopping. I said I want to go to the department store and play with makeup. She says, why don't you be a makeup artist? I said, I don't want to go to beauty school. She said, I'm sure there's a college. And I found Emerson. And I literally flew up to Emerson, knocked on the door, and started there the next week.
And that was possible?
Well, it wasn't possible, but they said okay. I mean, basically, they didn't have a degree. They had an interdisciplinary degree, which now I think they're calling entrepreneurship.
And how did you convince them to let you into the beauty program? You're just like, look, I'm
Bobbi.
Bobbi.
There was no beauty program.
Sorry, how did you convince them to let you into the school? Hey, I'm Bobbi. Emerson seems like a cool place for me?
Because they had theater. They had film. I said, okay, I could probably do makeup there. And so I majored in makeup and minored in photography. One of my classmates was Dennis Leary.
Wow.
So, it's a real...
Did you ever put makeup on Dennis Leary?
No, have not. Have not. But it's a very, very cool place. So I studied makeup there, and I did makeup for everything. The plays and film, and I just did it for everything. And I didn't know what I was going to do with this makeup degree. Had no idea. So I moved to New York, and I thought, let me get a waitressing job. I couldn't get one. I went one day, and I said, this is not working. So I said, I better get some work. So I started making phone calls. I didn't know anyone. I just opened up the yellow pages and looked up makeup, models, modeling agencies, and started making phone calls. And people said I needed a portfolio. So I'm like, great, how do you get a portfolio? And they said, well, you work with the new models and the new board and a photographer, and you work for free. They give you slides. You know what a slide is? You don't know what a slide is? People used to take pictures, and instead of film, you would get a little slide. They put in a slide projector. Come on.
Yeah, of course, a slide projector slide. I was like...
just in case you guys don't know what slides are. Okay, it was before digital.
Slides.
They'd give you a slide, and then you'd have to take the slide and print it and put it in a portfolio. That's how we started our books back then. It was pretty expensive.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you started doing that.
I started doing that. I built a portfolio, and I started bringing it around to people, and one day someone said, all right, I'll hire you. So I got a job. It's not a job. I got a one-day job. Like when you're freelance, someone hires you. My first job was Glamour magazine. They hired me to do a dancer. That was my first job. But then that photographer hired me for something else, and then the stylist hired me for something else. So when you freelance, you network. I didn't know what networking was. It really just means you have to be nice to everybody, which you should be anyways. I mean, duh. So I started freelancing, and it was the 80s. And in the 80s, makeup was very old-fashioned, very white skin, contouring. I know it sounds like the Kardashians, but back then that's what the makeup was. And my makeup was not like that. I couldn't do it. I thought it looked bad. I liked fresh, healthy outdoors. And I had some makeup artists that said, you are probably not going to work because you don't do what we need. And I just couldn't help it. I just followed my gut and did what I thought, and then things changed, and I think I was probably responsible for nude makeup.
Cool.
But there was nothing on the market that you couldn't buy makeup that allowed you to have that look. I'd have to fix every makeup I bought.
And that was the inspiration for making your own?
It was the inspiration. And I, as a freelance makeup artist in New York City, I tried every bag, backpacks and bags, and I would arrive at a shoot with so much stuff. And one day I said, this is really stupid. I don't need 15 taupes and 15 beiges. I need one taupe, one beige, one this. And so I started to think about, I wish there was a line where you had the best of everything. It didn't exist. And in my head, I was kind of thinking about what could happen. And then one day I was doing a shoot for a magazine at then Keel's Pharmacy. And there was a chemist there. And I told him that I wanted to make a lipstick that didn't smell bad, wasn't greasy, looked like the color of the lips. And he said, I'll make it for you. I said, cool. He made it for me. And after 4 or 5 times sending it back, I said, this is amazing. And I showed all my model friends, my editor friends. Everyone says, oh my God, I love this. I said, what an idea. Why don't a makeup artist selling a line of makeup? Duh. And I started selling that one lipstick, and then I thought about, not everyone likes nude. Some like red, some like pink, some like orange. And I devised 10 colors, and I made a collection. And I said, I bet no one will ever have to buy another lipstick because you can mix and blend. And I thought, I bet I could sell these. And I started selling them. It was fine until I met a cosmetics buyer for Bergdorf's that wanted to take it. That business does not work that way.
Right.
So I had to find a lab to recreate the makeup. And I found a girl in an elevator. And I said, what do you do? She said, I work at so-and-so lab. And I said, oh, can I have your card? And I started making them at that lab. And I still make them at that lab to this day.
And so at that point, did it feel like it was risky to start selling these and go into business, or
I don't know,
just sort of naturally happening?
I don't know what risk is. Like, we started the company and we literally cleaned out our bank account. I mean, we didn't have a ton of money. My husband was in law school at the time, just had our first child, and I didn't want to travel anymore on all these cool location shoots anymore. I lived in New Jersey, and I really wanted to be a mom, and I wanted to do both and everything. I still want to do everything. And what was the worst that happened? I'd have to go back doing catalog work or advertising work. I knew I couldn't make a living because I certainly couldn't get a job as a waitress anymore. So
starting a company gives you such a crazy perspective on risk.
But I never really thought I was starting a company. I was just making lipsticks, then selling lipsticks. Oh, and then Bergdorf wants them. I never thought about
this was a big thing.
Right. I don't think about things. Even things I'm doing now, I have no clue what I'm doing. But I just do it because it seems cool and fun and interesting. But we basically, we didn't have a lot of money. We started the company with $5,000, which, back then was more than it is now, but it wasn't like people think in order to start a company, you need $1 million. You don't. You just need an idea.
So cool.
Yeah.
What were the sort of pivotal moments in building the business that were sort of key intersection points where you had to make big decisions?
Well, there's a lot. First of all, selling the company.
Yeah.
We sold the Bobbi Brown Cosmetics to Estee Lauder after 4 years, which is crazy. And it was the best move we could have done. They're really great partners, and they do, they had such incredible knowledge infrastructure, advice. So they've been great partners.
And how are you feeling about it then? I mean, so many people say, I want to start a company and want to run it forever.
Right.
I want to start a company, I want to sell it really fast.
Well, when
What's it like to sell a company?
Leonard Lauder called me and asked me to have dinner at his house, which was like, oh my God, Leonard Lauder, you know, first of all on the phone. And we came to his house and we had dinner on his roof. I mean, you can tell I'm from Chicago, roof. Anyways, now I'm East Coast, roof. And it was a very healthy dinner. He did his homework. He knew exactly what I like to eat. I had, you know, very clean, healthy food. And there was opera playing in Central Park. I'm not sure if he arranged that or not, but it was quite a nice touch. And he basically said, you're beating us in the stores. I'd like to buy you. And I was like, Leonard, I'm really honored, but we're not for sale. And he says, what if I tell you, what if I could promise you total autonomy? I had no idea what autonomy was, but it just means I could do whatever I want. And what if you can do what you really love to do, which is the creative, and spend time with your children, I had 2 at the time, and your family, and be a mom. I said, well, that sounds like pretty good. And I trusted him, and I love the man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we think about how you managed the business and ran Bobbi Brown then, and how you run it today as a really big beauty company that's had a massive impact on the industry.
It's changed a lot because there's been different people running the business part of it. I mean, I am by no means, you know, a business person. I have, you know, very clear marketing ideas, very clear product ideas, very, you know, everything visual, you know, is definitely 100% up to me. I'm the chief creative officer. But I also think 360. Like, I know what we're doing in a year and a half, and I know all the touch points and what's gonna bring it all together, where a lot of people don't think that way. I know you probably think that way. I know our friend Mickey Drexler thinks that way, because it's a big circle of things that are gonna make something successful.
Got it.
Yeah.
So that's what you think about. And what about?
I still think about it now. People are always like amazed how far in the future, because I even know like what's gonna happen either during Fashion Week or awards season, or what book is out, or what, and how you really bring it together, and now how to include social media in it. And things are changing so rapidly in our market, how people buy things, and yeah, department stores are definitely changing, and people's shopping habits. And for me, I'm lucky because I have my kids who are I call them my posse, my kids, my nephews, their girlfriends, their friends, and that's how I learn a lot.
How do you think companies should and will use Instagram and other social media platforms to build their businesses?
I am 100% visual being. I mean, words are okay, but for me, it's all about the pictures.
Yeah.
So.
Picture says 1,000 words, and people look at big pictures.
Right.
And they click on big buttons.
They do. They click on pictures, and you know, the couple simple words matter more than all that big block of words. You need a digital presence, that's for sure. And you need a website that sells, and you need a website that tells you about it, and you know.
Yeah. So I'm a student. Yeah. Let's just pretend.
I'm a student. You went back to school.
I went back to school.
Okay.
I want to build a business.
Okay.
And I want to build a business that's a little bit outside of the norm. What would you tell me?
I'd say, that's great. Do you have any ideas?
It's an idea. It's a little bit wacky.
Mm-hmm. Well, so many people come to me and say, I want to start a business. And I say, great. And then there's radio silence. So you need an idea. And it has to be something that you think is better than what's out there. It has to be something that has never been heard before. And it's got to be something that you just love so much that no matter what, you're just going to keep at it. Because there is no easy path. And it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I also would really tell anyone that wants to start a business to work for someone before they start a business. I mean, I never worked for anyone, but I had a different path. But so many kids come out of school and they think they're brilliant, and they don't know how the world works. And sometimes how the world works is just interpersonal skills. So I do suggest people get a job.
Back to this idea of starting a company that's really different.
Yeah.
How do you know if your idea and your company is different enough?
Well, I believe in market research, but not the kind that most people believe in. I believe in market research that you ask your friends, your neighbors. I used to ask my kids' babysitters. So you ask people, and hopefully people will tell you the truth.
Yeah. And what do you ask them? Would you want this?
I show it to them and you see people's reaction. I mean, for me, you have to be really, in order to have a business, you have to, be a little bit aware of your surroundings, and you could tell if someone actually likes something or doesn't. So I think it's, really important to be able to understand that people love something. And I knew in the beginning when people were asking me for something or wanting to give it to their mother or get something for someone else, I knew that I had something. And when I started my business, I had models, I had editors, I had people I worked with that were like, OMG, it's amazing. So
that gave you the confidence.
It did.
Yeah. I think one of the worst pieces of advice that some people get around starting a business is not to tell anybody.
Right.
To like keep it all to yourself in some secret private beta that only you know.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to learn?
That makes total sense. And my son always crowdsources. He will try on the 5 pairs and people will vote on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And so I talk to people, learn.
Yeah, that's exactly what works, what doesn't.
Yeah. And how do you think about sort of, you have this brand at Bobbi Brown that is built around authenticity in many ways, like makeup that doesn't feel like makeup, which is such an amazing concept. How do you make sure that everyone else at the company lives that, feels that, breathes that every day? The
best you could do is make sure you hire your top tier and make sure they're the right people, and then you have to trust them for, hiring under that. But it's constant work, and I have a visual PowerPoint that I give the team, and every 6 months I give it again because there's new people, and you have to just really stay true to what you believe in. I mean, food is really important to me. Healthy food, I call it beauty food. We have a healthy kitchen, we have speakers come in. I just make sure that our culture in the office is what I want the brand to represent.
And you said that people have to have fun in their daily life.
You do. You have to have fun. You have to take care of yourself, and and no one's a victim. You have time. You make the time. You can eat healthy food. You could do anything you want to do. So you're not a victim. You're in control and you're in charge.
Got it.
And I've met a lot of people in my life that have mentored me. Mickey Drexler being one of them. Leonard Lauder being another one. But Mickey is the one that showed me early on that my way of being wasn't quote unquote unprofessional. My way of being was authentic. And so being authentic is really important to me. And, and I like to break the rules a little bit. I like to make a little bit of trouble. I like to laugh. But I'm also very focused and like to work hard and get things done. So it's a combination.
So you're looking to hire people into Bobbi Brown.
I am looking to hire.
What do you look for?
I look for people that have great energy. I need people that have great energy, that when you are talking to them, you want to know everything about them. It's really hard, but I want someone to not be nervous. Sometimes people walk in and they are petrified of even standing in my office. I don't think that person's going to work.
Does that make you feel a little bit weird? You're like, why are you so scared to talk to me?
No, it doesn't make me feel good for them. I just need people that are comfortable in their skin, confident. And I know youth, it doesn't always come with youth when you're hiring someone who's just out of school. But I look for someone that's interesting, that has great ideas, that doesn't just come in and want to answer questions. They want to tell me about something. But my biggest advice to people that are graduating is, don't think you're going to get the dream job now. It doesn't exist. And there's so many things you could do to get the dream job. I've had people that were my receptionists, and now they're in my creative team. Sometimes you have to take a lesser job to get in the door somewhere. And I think it's a great thing for people to do and to be open to.
And make the most of that opportunity.
And make the most of it. And our receptionist, literally every day we'd come in, and besides saying hi, he would say, what can I do to help? And he'd say, those bags that go out, they don't look really great. Can I re-fluff them? And we realized he had this incredible talent. And now he's been in our creative team for years and years, because instead of just sitting there being bored, he made the most of his time. So it's what you give that really makes the difference. And honestly, it's good energy.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning into University. Bobbi, thank you for being here with us.
Oh,
this
you're
was
welcome.
amazing.
Thanks
we
for
learned
having
a lot.
me. Good luck, guys.